What if I told you that some of the world's most luxurious cars share parts with economy sedans? That supercar you've been dreaming about might be sporting headlights from a Nissan. Here are the top 10 luxury cars secretly built on a budget. 10. Infiniti G35, 2003 to 2007. A car that wore a luxury badge but hid a not-so-secret identity underneath. This affordable luxury sports sedan was engineered on the exact same platform as the legendary Nissan Skyline. While the G35 delivered impressive performance with its punchy VQ35 DEV6 engine and offered premium features like leather seats and advanced audio systems, it essentially shared its DNA with a much cheaper, sporty car. The platform sharing allowed Infiniti to deliver luxury appointments and engaging driving dynamics without the astronomical price tag of true luxury competitors. For buyers, this meant getting a taste of performance luxury without breaking the bank. But for Nissan, it meant maximizing profits by stretching their engineering investments across multiple brands. 9. Rolls-Royce Silver Seraph, 1998 to 2002. A car that should embody British automotive aristocracy, secretly borrowed heavily from BMW. Under that imposing grille sat a BMW-sourced V12 engine. And dig a little deeper, and you'd find electrical components shared with various BMW models. Now, this wasn't entirely Rolls-Royce's fault. During this period, the company was transitioning ownership and cost pressures were mounting. Rather than developing entirely bespoke components, they turned to their Bavarian partners for help. While the luxury brand image remained intact with sumptuous leather, wood veneers, and that famous spirit of ecstasy, the underpinning cost savings were significant compared to traditional handmade Rolls-Royces. And the irony, most owners never knew they were driving a car with a German heart. 8. Audi A8 early models. Germany's answer to the Mercedes S-Class and BMW 7 Series. While it wowed buyers with cutting-edge technology, aluminum space frame construction, and beautifully crafted interiors, there was a secret hiding beneath all that sophistication. Many of these early A8 models shared platforms and components with more modest Audi vehicles. The basic chassis, suspension pieces, and various mechanical components came from the corporate parts bin, shared with more affordable siblings in the Audi lineup. This strategic cost-sharing explains why used A8 models from this era appear comparatively affordable today. Audi managed to deliver a convincing luxury experience by focusing investment on the areas customers could see and feel, while economizing on the hidden mechanical foundations. Smart? Absolutely. Truly bespoke luxury? Not quite. 7. Lincoln MKZ, 2017 to 2019. A car that tried really hard to compete with German luxury, but couldn't quite hide its cost-cutting measures. While offering an impressive twin-turbo V6 that delivered serious power and modern technology features, a closer inspection revealed where Lincoln pinched pennies. The carpeting in less visible areas, certain panel materials, and switchgear didn't quite measure up to what you'd find in a true premium marque like BMW or Mercedes. Some interior plastics felt surprisingly cheap for a car wearing a luxury badge. But here's the thing, this was intentional. Lincoln's strategy was to offer great value, delivering that luxury badge and respectable performance at a price point significantly lower than German competitors. For buyers who wanted the prestige without the premium price tag, the MKZ delivered. It just asked you not to look too closely at the details. 6. Lexus GS 350, 2013 to 2015. The GS 350 delivered on that promise with refined driving dynamics and near-luxury materials throughout the cabin. But underneath, it shared its rear-wheel drive platform with more affordable Lexus siblings. Lexus's master strategy has always been about economies of scale. By spreading development costs across multiple models, they could invest heavily in quality control, sound insulation, and those buttery smooth powertrains that Lexus is famous for. The result was a car that felt expensive without actually being expensive to produce. Most owners never knew or cared that their GS 350 shared bones with lesser models. They were too busy enjoying that legendary Lexus reliability and whisper-quiet cabin. 5. Mercedes-Benz C-Class. Regarded by many as an entry-level Mercedes, the C-Class has long been built with careful cost control measures hiding beneath that prestigious three-pointed star. Various C-Class generations have shared components and mechanical elements with lower-tier Mercedes models and even some commercial vehicles. Rather than engineering everything from scratch, Mercedes emphasized technology, interior luxury touches, and that intangible Mercedes feeling while economizing on the stuff you couldn't easily see. Here's what's clever. Mercedes understood that what buyers really wanted was the badge, the status, and enough luxury appointments to justify the price. The C-Class delivered all of that while being one of the most cost-effective cars Mercedes produced. It's been one of their best sellers for decades for a reason. So just a quick timeout, guys. But before we move on to the rest of the video, could we ask you for a small favor? If you've enjoyed the content so far, could you take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel? Over 98% of viewers watch our videos without subscribing. It costs you absolutely nothing, but it is a really huge help to us. Thanks. Now, before we continue with our top 4, let me ask you something. When a luxury brand like Bentley shares a platform with a mainstream brand like Volkswagen, are you really getting true luxury, or are you just paying a premium for fancy leather and a prestigious badge wrapped around ordinary bones? Is the luxury experience genuine if the foundation is fundamentally the same as a car costing half the price? Well, you are getting genuine luxury, but it's not where you think. The magic happens in the refinement. While the basic platform might be shared, luxury brands invest heavily in sound deadening, suspension tuning, interior materials, build quality, and countless small details that transform the driving experience. 4. Bentley Continental GT. When this car debuted, it was praised for its performance, luxury, and that unmistakable Bentley presence. But here's what they didn't advertise in the brochures. The Continental GT was built on the VW Group's D1 platform, the very same architecture that underpinned the Volkswagen Phaeton. Yes, a Bentley and a Volkswagen were basically mechanical siblings. Now, to be fair, Bentley didn't just slap leather on a Phaeton and call it a day. The Continental GT received extensive upgrades, a magnificent W12 engine, and levels of craftsmanship that justified its price. But the fundamental platform engineering was shared, which saved Bentley millions in development costs. The genius here was that nobody really cared. The Continental GT looked, sounded, and felt like a proper Bentley. The cost savings were invisible to buyers who were too busy enjoying one of the most beautiful Grand Tours ever made. 3. Lamborghini Murcielago, 2001 to 2010. This was Lamborghini's flagship supercar. Its side indicator lights were straight off the first-generation Ford Focus. Yes, that Econobox Ford that your neighbor's kid learned to drive in donated parts to one of the world's most exotic supercars. Now, to be fair, the majority of the Murcielago was bespoke engineering and exotic materials. But this small detail perfectly demonstrates how even manufacturers of six-figure supercars rely on cheap, mass-produced parts for less conspicuous areas. Why? Because developing custom indicator lights would add cost without adding any performance or visual impact. It's actually brilliant cost management. Lamborghini focused their engineering budget on what mattered: the engine, the chassis, the drama, and saved money on the parts that nobody would notice or care about. Unless, of course, you happen to own both a Murcielago and a Focus and notice the family resemblance. So if exotic supercar manufacturers like Lamborghini are borrowing headlights from Nissans and indicator lights from Fords, does that diminish the exclusivity and craftsmanship that justify their astronomical price tags? When you're paying $300,000 for a supercar, should you expect every single component to be bespoke? Or is parts sharing from economy cars an acceptable compromise in the name of reliability and cost efficiency? Well, the answer is no. No, parts sharing doesn't diminish the exclusivity, and here's why. Exotic cars are expensive because of their engineering, performance, design, and limited production numbers, not because every nut and bolt is handcrafted. Using proven, reliable components from mass-market cars for minor parts actually makes sense. These parts have been tested through millions of units, they're reliable, readily available for service, and they meet all safety regulations. Developing a custom indicator light for a car that might only sell a few thousand units over its lifetime would be financially absurd and wouldn't improve the car in any meaningful way. The exclusivity of a Lamborghini comes from its 650 horsepower V12, its carbon fiber monocoque, its exotic styling, and the fact that you'll rarely see another one on the road. Whether the indicator light came from a Ford or was hand-carved by Italian artisans doesn't change the way it announces corners. Now here's where things get really interesting. Everything we've discussed so far might make it seem like these luxury brands were being deceptive or cheap. But what if I told you that this kind of strategic cost management isn't a flaw, it's actually genius? The automotive industry is brutally competitive and incredibly expensive. Developing a car from scratch can cost billions of dollars. By sharing platforms, borrowing proven components, and leveraging economies of scale, these manufacturers could offer luxury and performance to more people at accessible price points. Think about it. Would you rather live in a world where a Bentley costs $500,000 because every single component is unique? Or would you prefer a $200,000 Bentley that shares a platform with a VW but still delivers 90% of the experience? These cheap luxury cars democratized opulence. They made it possible for more people to experience craftsmanship, performance, and prestige that would otherwise be completely unattainable. That's not cutting corners. That's smart business that benefits consumers. 2. Lamborghini Diablo, 1990 to 2001. This was supposed to be the ultimate exotic supercar, the poster that hung on every teenager's bedroom wall in the 90s. But pop up those iconic headlights and you'd find they were borrowed from the Nissan 300ZX, a sports car that cost a fraction of the Diablo's price. The 1999 facelift replaced the pop-up units with fixed headlights, also sourced from the Z32 generation 300ZX. This wasn't Lamborghini being lazy or cheap, it was survival. During this period, Lamborghini was financially struggling. Using proven, reliable headlight assemblies from a mass-produced sports car made perfect sense. It saved development costs, ensured parts availability, and honestly, once they were integrated into the Diablo's aggressive face, nobody could tell they came from a Nissan. 1. Volkswagen Phaeton, 2002 to 2016. This car was Volkswagen's attempt to build a true luxury sedan that could compete with Mercedes and BMW. While equipped with powerful engines, including a magnificent 6.0-liter W12 and loaded with advanced technology, the Phaeton was built on a platform shared with the VW Passat, a relatively affordable family sedan. Now, Volkswagen invested heavily in upgrading this platform. The Phaeton received air suspension, premium materials, and engineering that allowed it to maintain stability at 186 miles per hour. But fundamentally, it shared architecture and many components from the VW parts bin with much cheaper vehicles. The Phaeton's biggest problem? It looked too much like a Volkswagen. The understated styling meant people couldn't tell they were looking at a $100,000 luxury sedan. It was the ultimate stealth wealth car, but nobody wanted stealth when they were spending that kind of money. The Phaeton failed commercially in most markets, but it succeeded brilliantly as an engineering exercise. It proved that Volkswagen could build a car that genuinely competed with established luxury brands at a fraction of the development costs through clever parts sharing and platform engineering. In many ways, the Phaeton was the most honest car on this list. It never pretended to be something it wasn't. It was a Volkswagen through and through, just an extraordinarily well-engineered one that borrowed the best parts from across the VW empire. Outro, so there you have it. 10 luxury cars that mastered the art of looking expensive while being secretly built on budgets. Would you still buy your dream luxury car if you knew it shared parts with economy models? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you never miss our next reveal.